Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction for Tower of God Chapter 565 for Season 3 Episode 148. Um, gosh, I know the beginning of these videos, I think all the time, like, wow, it's insane that we're this far into the series, this many chapters. Um, but yeah, I guess there's not really too much to discuss before getting into things. I assume we're just going to have, like, Yuri versus, the Yuri versus, I don't know if they're actually going to fight Tiara. Yuri versus Tiara stuff. I don't know if they're actually going to fight because I think fighting is just like not good for either of them. Like Yuri showing up here to just put an axe to all of this waifu tournament stuff. She's not here for this tournament going down. She doesn't want this to happen, and Tiara's there to grab Bomb and stealthily take him out of there. And so I feel like, especially Tiara, like for Yuri, this fight doesn't really negatively affect her very much, but it doesn't help her either. But for Tiara, this definitely negatively affects her mission. Like, this brings more attention to where she is, more attention to what's going on with people from the Pobedao infiltrating. Fighting here is just really not good for Tiara, so I don't know if there'll actually be a fight. Given that that's the way it's going. I guess we could see whatever's happening with the Serpent Master, I almost called it Snake Charmer, Serpent Master going to where Bomb is. I guess we could see some of that, but I don't know. I feel like it's more likely that we stick with what's going on with Yuri, but what do I know? We could cut away to Andrasi and Lilial, but I don't feel like we will quite yet. Like, it feels like we just did that last chapter, really. So yeah, or last chapter, the chapter before rather. So yeah, I'm interested in what's going on. One thing, like the only thing that I had been spoiled on, I've been spoiled on nothing. The only thing I mentioned last week is that I knew, my own fault, at some point Yuri was going to meet Tiara. And really, I didn't consider that a big spoiler or anything. I was like, well, nobody to be mad at but myself that I know this. But also, not really a big spoiler that two characters involved in the same arc are going to meet. Like, I don't know if Yuri's going to meet Traumare, but I think it's more likely that she would than that she wouldn't, because they're both involved in the same arc. But either way, I don't see how Tiara's plan's going to work out at all, because even with, like, say Andrasi wasn't here, or other characters that Bomb might care about, like even at the lower floors, Jinsung and Cha, even with Kun and Rak there to be like, okay, Bomb, come with us, we're going back to the Pobedao. I just don't think Traumare is that stupid. I don't think that he isn't monitoring this or has some failsafe in some way that, like, somebody can't just sneak in there, grab the irregular that this whole thing is about, and leave. But yeah, the only thing I wanted to bring up, I was watching Dr. Bonehead's video, and he mentioned something about something happening in one of the recent chapters, and I'm not talking recent for us, I'm talking recent for like months ahead of time, the Korean slash Raw slash Scanlation releases, that was controversial. And saying that made me remember that people in my Discord had said something about it, where the general sentiment I saw from them was, like, nobody spoiled me on what happened, but they were like, people are upset about this thing, but it's sort of like, this is Tower of God at this point. It's not surprising. So I'm just assuming that it's something like we've seen plenty in the past 100 chapters or so, like Bomb just solving his problems because irregular. Like something that you should probably just be used to happening in Tower of God now, even if it's like not ideal. Because, I mean, again, at the beginning of this, I was like, whoa, we're at chapter 500 something already. I've been doing this for hundreds of chapters. There's been things that have come along that I haven't liked, and as I continue to do this, do it long enough, and there are other things that are going to pop up that I don't like. But just because I don't like something that happens doesn't mean that, like, it's going to be the end of the world, or that I'm not expecting like that from Tower of God at this point. So yeah, I'm not expecting it to be some big, crazy, dramatic thing for me, but whatever it was, the Korean fans at the very least were pissed about it. And I think I saw, like last week, Naya did a video on it, and I saw like the title or something, and I was like, oh, I want to click so badly. The clickbait is, well, it wasn't clickbait, but it's like the title, it's calling to me. It's calling to me. So I had to really hold back from clicking on that. But either way, long intro aside, I wanted to talk about what was going on in the series before jumping into it. Let's go ahead and read this week. Again, I think after the past few chapters, there were a couple chapters there when it was like crazy stuff week after week. And the past few chapters have been incredibly good. I've loved the stuff with like Liliel and Andrasi and everything, and Yuri showing up. But it has just sort of settled into a normal arc pacing. We're just in a normal sort of flow of week by week. Okay, this is continuing on, and we're just kind of in the middle of something. We're not at that like beginning or end or like turning point where crazy things are happening every single week. So I'll be interested to see what's going to happen, but if you were to ask me my predictions, it's probably just going to be continuing on Yuri and Tiara stuff, and we're probably not going to get any like huge reveals or changes to anything. But yeah, clicking onto the chapter now, we're starting off with the end of last chapter where Yuri got head scissored away. And then, what the hell is your problem charging at me like that? I love all of Yuri's faces last week as well. Are you going to cover my insurance? And then, only if you mean life insurance, and that's where we got cliffhung last time. Season 3, new participant 3. Huh. Wait a minute, aren't you Bomb's friends? Okay, so she does immediately recognize them. Hi there, says Kun, holding his lower back. Do you know her? Kind of. What brings you here? You know very well why I'm here. I came to see Bomb. Honestly, it would make more sense for Yuri to work with them. Is she some kind of stalker? Bomb, that's the name of the boy I'm looking for. I've heard that Yuri Zahard is interested in him, but I didn't think she'd come all the way here. I'm afraid I can't let you meet him. We're supposed to take that boy Bomb with us. Yeah, if anything, I feel like Yuri working with them would be more aligned to her interests. What right do you have to take him? And she does have the Green April out. Somebody in their reaction mentioned that last week, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't even notice when I was first reading that she pulled it out when she got attacked. But yeah, she has the Green April out. What right do you have to take him? Ah, I almost forgot to introduce myself. My name is Pobedao Tiara. I'm from the Pobedao family. Oh, right, the famous psychopath. And then, you're not supposed to call her that. A psychopath? A sophisticated lady like me? Haven't you heard? Everyone knows. They say you're a total psycho. And she's looking back at Dravi and saying, hey, you shouldn't judge people based on ridiculous rumors like that, and we even have Tiara raising her voice. I didn't expect to run into a tough opponent like her as soon as I arrived. Go get Bomb while I fight her. Yes, Princess. You're quite notorious yourself, in case you didn't know. What? I've heard about you. You're Princess Yuri Zahard, right? The Zahard family's infamous. Wild horse, and she's poking Kun in the back. So we have them both sending out their groups, and I'm gonna sound awful. People in the fan base may hate me for this, but I am absolutely team Yuri, Dravi, and Hemoslime over Tiara, Rack, and Kun. I feel like such a traitor since we've known Rack and Kun since season 1, but I'm totally on Yuri's squad side of this. I'll deal with her. In the meantime, go bring me that boy Bomb. What? Wild horse? How dare you call a pretty woman like me a wild horse, you ugly little nerd. Ugly. That sounds funny coming from a beast of a woman like you. What? Screw you, you goddamn psychopath. You pile of shit. You sewage dump. They're just yelling back and forth. I'm usually very calm. That's a really great sentence. I'm usually very calm. I haven't met anyone who pisses me off this much in such a long time. What are you going to do, Turtle? That woman is on the black-haired turtle's side. Whose side should we take? Well, I'm always a perfect lady, but you really make me want to kick your ass. Like, and again, I guess both sides put them in a difficult position, because if Racket, I feel less I was gonna say, why don't Rack and Kun just defect? But then I was like, oh, they have Vicente and Waryun captured. But then I'm also kind of like, can't Waryun and them, can they just kind of escape on their own? Or it's like, we're not that close to like Arya or Yule. Then again, Yule is the one who knows where. Yeon is, so Bomb probably wouldn't like them to get into too much trouble. But I'm like, honestly, that side of things I worry about less. But then again, on the other hand, you could say, can't Bomb just escape with them and then be like, can't Jin Sung and Cha handle themselves? But yeah, either way, what's there to think about? We're not siding with either of them. We're on our own side. Run. Go. And then once we find Bomb, we'll escape while these two are distracted. So I guess that kind of is Kun's plan. Kun's plan is just, our teammates that are captured at the Pobedao battleship can handle themselves. This is such a cool, interesting dynamic, though. It was not at all how I was expecting, like, the sides of this conflict to shape out, you know? And Yuri's coming down with an attack. And it looks like something's activating behind the weapon, but in front of her hands. And one of those, again, I said they were sunflower looking, one of the sunflower looking things showing up. And it looks like it completely knocks the Green April away from her. She reaches out to try to grab it again. Her reaction speed is impressive. And then she slings it towards her, but it looks like Tiara hops over it. And we see more of the things showing up around her, but she's able to jump out of the way. Interesting. In her every move, I sense such high-density Shinsu bursting without making a sound. And we have Yuri just weaving through all of the sunflower things. This is such a nuisance, but if I get up close, she'll be within range of her own attack. So she won't be able to blow these things up. And her plan is to just blitz her close range. A close range attack, if you think that's my weakness, then you're seriously mistaken, you soft-headed fool! And she headbutts her. And then both of them stagger. She pulls out the pen. Yuri clenches her fist. And they both start trading close-range blows. And we see Yuri hop back to gain distance while the sunflowers burst between them. How are you still standing after headbutting me like that? Is your head made of titanium or something? Of course my head is strong. I'm constantly strengthening it with reading the logic, the meathead logic. I read so much that my head is powerful. This gives me such white, I hate counting to higher than 3 energy. That doesn't make your head stronger, since I'm technically an uninvited guest. And we have flower petals coming from Yuri. I was hoping to get Bomb out of here without causing too much trouble, but I'll make an exception for you. And we have the roses showing up like when she fought Karaka. So it's interesting to note that we saw when the characters were learning Shinsu quality that a person's individual Shinsu quality takes different shapes. So it might be interesting that, like, I think that's what it is. I was going to say it earlier with what Tiara was doing, that this, like, sort of gear / sunflower, like, it looks kind of like a sunflower, but also kind of like gears. And it has this sort of techno look that you see with, like, these smarter futuristic type characters. So I think that's what's going on with her Shinsu, that's her quality, that's the shape of it. And then with Yuri's, hers are rose petals, it would seem. And then, the roses are so pretty. Here, let me give you something in return. And she flips open the book she was holding and starts writing in it. I'll show you some even more beautiful writing. And she's scribbling. And then, oh, we're cutting, okay, wow, I was hit hard by this transition. Wild transition back to Bomb and Ren. Ren goes flying. I think this is gonna... Okay, predictions before I go any further. I think this is the end of their fight. I don't think Ren's gonna get back... Well, I think Ren's gonna get back up to be like, okay, let's keep going, and Bomb's gonna be like, you've lost. It's over, it's done. Then the then the Serpent Master shows up, and either they have to team up or Bomb has to find a way to defeat it on his own. But I've been saying for a while, I think that he and Ren are going to have to team up. I think Ren's lost. I think it's over for Ren. But I think, of course, we've seen how stubborn he is, that Ren's probably still going to be like, it's not over, even though, like, Bomb won. We see Ren trembling, actually, and it looks like something like his arm is opening up. Oh, it's his clothes. His clothes are just coming off. Okay, then. And we'd have just slumped, done. And we have all the... This is a cool shot. This is neat. Sorry, there's a gnat buzzing around. This is neat. This panel of him taken down with the... voice crack. Taken down with the bugs and the huge Mara-like creature behind him. That took longer than I thought. I hope Andrasi's okay. I'd better go look for her. And he goes to run away, but we still see the... what is it, the Mouth of Despair leech coming from Ren's hand and moving around. He starts running down the hallway. So, again, we have this hint that Ren's not done for. The leech is still moving around, but Bomb's probably going to run into the snakes and have to find a way to fight them. Alright? Because that sets us up with, like, it sets us up with the Yuri versus Tiara stuff, the Lilial versus Andrasi stuff, and then the Bomb versus the Snake stuff to sort of balance our attention between those three things. We'll probably not see too much of Tiara and Yuri, just because I feel like that's going to kind of be like an even fight, make both characters look good, and they're both holding each other off, so they're not really contributing to like the main forward momentum of the story. But then the four that are coming to look for Bomb don't know if they're going to have to fight each other or if they're going to show up to help Bomb do whatever to take out the snakes, because Bomb's going to be the one to, like, I don't know if the snakes get taken out this early, but if they do, Bomb's going to be the one to do it. And it's much like how Raccoon showed up at the very end to play like some sort of assist role with the fight against White, or how they did an assist role in the fight against Delete. I think it'll be like that again. And then I really think it's too early for Andrasi to just stomp Lilial, but I feel like Andrasi does stomp Lilial, so Lilial's got to have somebody to show up to help her, is what I'm thinking for that side of things. But then, continuing, we have Bomb getting a bad feeling, saying, I recognize that feeling. And there's a thud against the door. Actually, for a while now, everybody's been like, how's Laura going to come back into this? This might be how. They might actually end up around the room where Laura is, because there's a thud at one of the doors. We have the snakes coming down the hall. And then, okay, more shots at the snakes. And Bomb just slinks off into a room. I think they're gone. He's peeking out. And then he looks back behind him. And they burst in. They came from the bathroom. He puts his hands up to try to block them. It's too late. And they start wrapping all around him. And collapsing in. And that's where we end. Of course Bomb's going to be fine, though. I mean, he's the main character. Interesting, though. I can't really say much about the Bomb and Snake stuff. I already talked a ton about what I think's going to happen throughout the course of reading the chapter. But, yeah, I can't really say much because of, like, that is a rough cliffhanger we have ended on. But, yeah, that's it. I really feel like I did a good job with this one of just discussing what I thought as I went through. I still just kind of think those same things. We'll probably stop in here and there to see stuff with Yuri and with Tiara. If anything, I obviously don't expect Tiara to beat Yuri, but I also feel like it's a waste to just have her defeated this early. So it's likely we might cut back here and there, but they're both trying to hold each other off. Neither of them is making forward momentum progress toward this arc. So that's just something we're going to jump back to be like, what's going on with them? I think the group of four is going to find Bomb and, like I said, somehow assist him. No clue how this evolves from there, though, because, of course, we have a bunch of stronger people involved. Traumery is around here somewhere. We're on the like main battleship of the Lopobia. We don't know what's going to be happening with Yama's group, who has a lot of strong characters, or what's going to be going on with Lobanon and whatever he's doing. We've got Cha and Jinsung, who I mentioned, at the lower floors of the hotel. So there is a lot going on outside of just this little tournament thing. So the first round basically was, or the first test that Jam Jam had given them was survive the Snake Charmer stuff. But I honestly don't even think we're going to go to a second test or a second stage. I think we're already maybe at the point where things have broken down. I thought we were going to maybe complete this stage and Traumerei or Jam Jam or whatever was going to say, okay, now we move on to the next stage, and Yuri, you're thrown into the mix. Tiara, you're thrown into the mix. Ren, maybe even you're thrown into the mix. But at this point, things may have broken down enough already that we're going to start seeing other like high ranker, strong characters like Yuri, Tiara type characters show up. So I think we're already at the stage where this whole, like, it's not even really a tournament. It's been kind of a sham from the start, purposefully so. I think we're just already at the point where it's going to start breaking down. But yeah, this was really, really, really fun. Like I said at the beginning, it is kind of just something to continue on what we've been seeing for the past few chapters. It's just a small part of a greater whole, so I can't like really review it too hard because I don't have the context of what comes next. But I wasn't expecting to get more forward momentum in the story with the Bomb and Ren stuff. I thought we were likely going to spend most, if not all, of our time just with the Tiara and Yuri stuff. So it is cool to see all of that. Plus, I really like the dynamic. I said earlier that I wasn't expecting it, of Dravi and Hema Slime working with Yuri to help Yuri with what she's trying to do, and Kun and Rak working with Tiara. But also, let's face it, they're not really working with Tiara. They're just trying to get the bomb on their own. But even doing that, like I said, it's kind of a difficult position because Gustang has Waryun, has Yul, who has the information about Yiwa, and like, so again, Bomb wouldn't want to abandon them. Even like, you know, Bomb doesn't like really like abandoning people. Like, he wouldn't want to abandon Yul, even though he doesn't know them that well anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. Either way, we gotta wait until next week. So for now, gonna go try to get this video up. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, my first thoughts and reactions. Subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you're willing to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. If you'd like to help support the channel on Patreon, it's patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description. Or you could do the same by becoming a channel member, just going down there and hitting join. If you do either of those, you get a shout out at the end of the video. And I mentioned in my last video, I don't know about ever making like members or patrons only content. I might do it from time to time, but it's just like, I don't know. I just like to make stuff, put it out there for everyone. I don't want to paywall stuff. I might do extra stuff just as a thank you, but I kind of just like having everything open and up for everybody. But if you're not interested in that and you just want to donate, there's always super thanks. You can do that. It's like a special type of comment. But yeah, I suppose that's about it. There was one more thing I wanted to say. Oh yeah, I did do a video. It wasn't meant to be like a real video, where I did the first chapter of Tower of God in Japanese. I read the Japanese translation. I didn't do it as like a real video, and I just threw it up unmarked and linked to it. But if you're interested, I might throw a link to that in like the community tab or something at some point, if people are interested in seeing it. I just didn't like turn it into like a real video, but it is up here unmarked if anybody's interested. It's not good, trust me. It's me struggling through something in a language that I don't fully speak, or read rather. So yeah, either way, I guess that's it. Thank you to people who are already patrons and channel members. Thank you so much for your support. Chosen Regular, Evan Hawley, Magical Girls, FR Noto and Huariyun, Cheriton Student, David Langstaff, and Slayer Candidate SG. Massive thank you to all of them for the support, and massive thank you to all of you just for hanging out, watching, sharing Tower of God with me. So yeah, either way, that's it. I really need to hurry up and end this video so I can go get it posted. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time.